Good evening. As we come on the air tonight, the events unfolding in Iran and the Middle East are moving very quickly. The U.S. now confirming 3 American service members have been killed. They died during an Iranian attack in Kuwait. At least 5 other Americans seriously wounded. A short time ago, President Trump arriving back at the White House. Earlier, his first comments about the American deaths, paying tribute and calling them, quote, true American patriots. The president vowing to avenge their deaths and warning, quote, sadly, there will likely be more before it ends. Right here tonight, we have new reporting on the U.S. Israeli military operation targeting the supreme leader and Iranian leadership. Sources telling ABC News the CIA had been tracking the Ayatollah for months, right down to his daily routine before the deadly strike was launched. Sources say when intelligence officials learned the supreme leader was above ground in his office and meeting with Iran's top leaders, they struck. Sources say he was killed in the first round of attacks. Tonight, what President Trump is now saying about how long this U.S. military operation could last. Our John Carl talking with President Trump just a short time ago. He says the Iranians have reached out to him. And when John asked the president who will now lead Iran, the president saying the attack was so successful, it knocked out most of the candidates. It's not going to be anybody that we were thinking of because they are all dead. Second or third place is dead. Tonight, across the Middle East, U.S. embassies on high alert, Americans now stranded. And ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell on the scene of one of these deadly Iranian strikes. Their response to this U.S. attack.
Tonight, the first American casualties of the massive U.S.-Israeli war on Iran, as Iran retaliates for the assassination of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. U.S. and Israeli military striking at the heart of the Iranian regime, sending shockwaves across Iran, the Middle East and beyond. The brazen daylight assault, dubbed Operation Epic Fury, beginning at 9:45 a.m. Saturday in Iran. President Trump releasing this 8-minute pre-recorded message from Mar-a-Lago shortly after, laying out his case for war.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people.
Waves of explosions rocking Tehran for hours. Screams of horror in the street, cars and buildings in flames. Satellite imagery showing extensive damage to the Supreme Leader's compound, buildings leveled, smoke billowing from the scene. And tonight, stunning new details on what led up to this massive operation to topple the Iranian regime. A source telling ABC News the CIA had been tracking the Supreme Leader for months, down to his daily routine. An Israeli source briefed on the joint strike telling us Israeli intelligence discovered Khamenei spent quite a lot of time above ground in his offices and not in his bunker. When the US learned the Supreme Leader would be meeting with top Iranian officials in Tehran on Saturday, the source says the timing of the attack was moved up. The US and Israel claiming the 86-year-old Khamenei was killed in the very first round of attacks.
All in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries.
The US alone striking more than 1,000 targets. Navy warships fired Tomahawk cruise missiles. The Pentagon launching new US one-way drones for the first time in combat. B-2 stealth bombers armed with 2,000-pound bombs striking Iran's ballistic missile facilities. The president saying multiple Iranian Navy ships were destroyed, claiming Iran's top military leaders want to surrender.
The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives.
But so far, no indication from the interim Iranian government. Israel saying the joint operation has knocked out nearly all of Iran's defenses, leading to near total air supremacy over Iran, making it safer for fighter pilots to attack targets in the country. Iran's retaliation, swift and sweeping. At least 9 countries attacked. Israeli air defense intercepting a barrage of Iranian missiles over Tel Aviv. Some still getting through. We were preparing to go on air when another attack came in.
The air raid siren has just gone off once again. It's been going all day. Already we're seeing the signs of what looks like air defense going up into the sky to try and intercept incoming Iranian missiles. All day long, they haven't stopped coming.
Iran also targeting at least 4 U.S. bases in the region. Dramatic verified videos circulating online showing those strikes. From Jordan to this U.S. naval base in Bahrain, where 3,200 Americans are stationed. And after President Trump warned U.S. lives may be lost in this operation, the U.S. confirming 3 American service members were killed in action, 5 more seriously wounded. U.S. officials telling ABC News they were killed in an Iranian attack in Kuwait. The Iran attacks also aimed at civilians. A drone blasting this residential building in Bahrain. Harrowing videos showing the moment that drone came crashing in. People inside taking cover. Iran targeting Dubai too. This luxury hotel up in flames. The airports in Dubai and Kuwait hit. Video online showing smoke filling the terminals. In Qatar, people running for their lives. Our Marcus Moore in Doha.
You can see the air defense interceptors going into the air in those bright flashes of orange, and you can also hear the loud booms. This is what we've been hearing in Doha all day today.
And tonight, Iran saying the death toll's rising. More than 1,000 people killed. Crews searching through the night. State media claiming an airstrike on a girls' school in Iran has left more than 150 people dead, including students. The US and Israel still working to verify those claims. An order from the president in Florida. A war unleashed thousands of miles away in Iran. And here, somewhere in the middle, far from any battlefield, a quiet neighborhood in the Jerusalem hills. And a community torn apart. An Iranian missile evading the world's best air defenses, shattering the peace of a religious community that knew nothing of war until tonight.
You see dozens and dozens of rescue recovery vehicles, police vehicles here. The rescue operation has been going on for hours and hours now.
The missile landing in the town of Beit Shemesh, striking a shelter in a synagogue and the homes around it. The wounded carried away on stretchers. At least 9 innocent people died here.
Definitely heavy munition.
We were shown what remains of the lives once lived here. Rescue crews working against the clock, searching for survivors.
Oh my goodness.
Used to be a synagogue, used to be a house. Now it's just rubble.
Prayer books scattered in the rubble. The residents didn't stand a chance. As they were running to the shelter, the missile hit.
I did see reports that people had actually been sheltering in a bomb shelter because the siren had gone off. Is that right?
Yeah, you actually can't see the shelter. It's underneath a lot of this rubble. There's a slight opening that they were able to move the debris to get them out.
There'll be more days like this in Iran, the Gulf, and here in Israel.
This is the reality of the conflict that is now taking place here in Israel, across the Gulf, and also in Iran. These conflicts aren't just about policy, diplomacy, and military tactics. They're about the lives of ordinary people, innocent people, being devastated and being killed.
This Israeli town caught in the middle of yet another war in this region.
It's a very heavy price to pay for trying to attack Iran. Is it worth it?
Let me tell you something. The Israeli nation is a very resilient nation. We're not new to war. But this right here, The world knows that the Iranian regime targets its own civilians. It's a known fact. Here you see that they don't differentiate between any other nation's civilians as well. And had Israel and had the United States and any other nation involved had not gone in and preemptively targeted the threat of the existential threat against our nations, this would be a drop in the bucket.